Hey guys, welcome back to another episode, our first one of the year.
Yeah.
Change the screen here. Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy VD.
Happy VD. Well, we're here to take the pulse of the ORP Nation to find out what's going on the driver show.
I like it.
Sponsored by so far nobody, but I think Hobbytown USA will be coming on at the beginning of the racing season. Hopefully, Daniel and those guys will promote us. Chuck, how you doing?
Good, Mike. Good. It's a pleasure to be back for another year of exciting racing at ORP Raceway.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. I just and I screwed up. I should have let Dennis know earlier, but I just placed a big parts order for DDM.
Oh,
So
really?
my my steering servo saver went bad last year. It went bad. I screwed up. I stripped out the little screw.
Well,
I'm not going to retap it. It's 8 years old this year.
if you guys need parts, I'm a DDM dealer.
Well, crap! If I didn't own that,
I might be able to save you a few bucks here or there.
Well, heck,
because I don't. Well, I don't. I used to be a DDM dealer. I mean, I still am. I used to carry parts in my garage for years and sold parts, and I just got tired of dealing with the business side of it. So, but I'm still a dealer. So if you guys are looking for something, motors or something, shoot me and I can look up a price and maybe I can save you a few bucks.
There you go.
Well, but go ahead.
Anyway,
I digress here.
There we go. Now it looks like we have a new sponsor for this year.
DDM
Raceway. So, no, I realized, holy smokes, it's already mid-February. First race is April 20-ish, 26th-ish or something, I think, right?
Yeah, we're going to move it up early, mainly because of rainouts.
Right. Yeah, last year was brutal for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I was sitting there, I was like, oh crap, I got this. And then I had a bunch of like the little gaskets and that kind of thing where I think Dennis has been my supplier for gaskets for the last 7 years. So I figured I owed him. I need
Owed
to
him
hook
some
him up.
gaskets.
So a few,
Yep,
but
yep,
yeah, man, it's exciting. I've got no indoor racing done this winter. My cars are prepped and ready to go for Jeff Davis out of Hackberry. I think I saw Jeff had his schedule up.
yep, yep. He
So
put his out, and
you're up and going.
yep, I got my schedule out. I seen Grand Island.
Did they get
Uh,
theirs up?
they got theirs up also, and we'll talk a little bit. They had their rules meeting
Yeah, that's pretty
for
good.
the
I,
tracks,
I
and
listened in on that. That was good.
really, this doesn't affect us too much because we don't race a lot of 10 scales. But new this year and going into 2025, we're going to run the Mud Boss, Advanced Mud Boss Beginner, and then the new Traxxas Modified / late model. And we do have a change there, on at least on our end of the deal. But yeah, so hey guys, we also have to send prayers out to Chuck Burnley because he's going to have hip surgery
Yeah,
coming up next week. So
yeah. 27th, actually, I'm gonna
good
go
luck
in.
on that, man, and hope you.
Bionic, and yeah, no, thank you for that. I'm looking for the as you've been experiencing with your back. Boy,
Yeah,
it's hell to get old, but beats the alternative, right? If we're not getting
yeah,
old, we're not here. But yeah, it's it'll be nice. It'll be nice to get this thing taken care of.
yeah, yeah.
It was crazy last season. When I come out on Saturdays and just walking around on the uneven ground, picking stuff up, all that jazz. Um, Man, Sundays I was just shelled. I mean, I had a heck of a time just getting out of bed for church on Sunday mornings, and then Sunday afternoons I can get anything done. So I'm looking forward to it, man.
Right. Yeah,
Good.
yeah. Well, guys, hey, if you get on, say howdy. If I can remember where everybody's at. Uh,
My cousin's on. She joined us. She's pumping our
oh, there's
number.
some chats.
Yep, there we
Let's
go.
see who's on. Of course, Chuck says, "Good evening, drivers. Mike has a heart on for you."
Well, your background,
Okay.
at the background. Looking at the background, looks nice.
Happy Valentine's Day, racers. I do not know her. Is that your
Yeah,
cousin?
that's my cousin. Yeah, yep,
Yep.
yep. She's helping
Uh,
pump our numbers up, Mike. We're gonna get to like
Shaggy,
10 viewers
prayers
this
for
year.
Shaggy on that deal for you.
Yeah,
And
thank
there's your
you.
cousin again.
Yep, yep, yep.
Many prayers. She needs to come out and say hi. Come out to the
Yeah,
racetrack some night
yeah, yep. Have a
and
good
cheer
time.
you on. So, but yeah, say if you're on, get on and join us. This is our first show. We're kind of doing a basically house cleaning over the winter. There's been a lot of things that came down the road. And we're going to have more shows coming up. But one of the biggest conversations we have was the QSAC insurance. And of course, you guys know that we're a sanctioned QSAC track since 2017. This allows us to maintain the insurance policy that I need out here. And you have to be a member. That's just what it boils down to. And really, I'm the only track that I know of that sits on private property. Most of the tracks sits on city property or maybe a business. And so my homeowner's insurance requires me to have an outside liability policy. And so QSAC was the way to go for affordability and everything else that comes with it, with the QSAC Dirt
Well,
Nationals and
what's the
things.
cutoff on getting the old $30 versus the $35? Is
Okay,
that
so yeah, this is what I was going to explain, and we're going to have Brian Howard on, our co-chair for QSAC. He'll do, and this will be later on coming down. We're going to have him come on and explain more than what I can. But the reason that QSAC made an announcement last fall was they lost their insurance going into 2025. And what boiled down to that is they had an insurance claim in 2000.
it was like 21, wasn't it?
2000
Was it
was they
2000?
had an insurance claim. A gal got hit by a car,
Mhm.
came through the fencing and clobbered a gal in the stands where she was sitting. And so, of course, QSAC turned it into their insurance company, and 4 years later, they settled.
Yeah, and insurance companies being what they do best is screw
Right.
people.
And
Um,
unfortunately, at the time, QSAC, the insurance company says, we'd settled, but you guys are high risk.
yeah,
We decide that we're not going to cover you for the 2025 season.
Right.
So Brian Howard, they scrambled. Matter of fact, they called Kim, talked to Kim a little bit about her dealings with insurance. Doreen Brown. There was a lot of people behind the scenes. And of course, Brian Howard, once he gets on here this spring, can give you more details because I don't know everything. But unfortunately, with everything in today's world, prices going up, you expect insurance go up.
Hmm.
And it went up for us as a drivers $5.
Yeah.
And it's still, right now it's $30. Get it in before April
April
15th,
1st. April 1st.
April 1st. Yeah.
I looked it up.
And
You
then,
can't. But yeah. There
oh,
you go.
okay. And then after that, it will go up to 35. Now, a $5 increase in insurance with everything happening in today's world, it's not bad.
Right.
But you just expect that, so the insurance policy is still the same as we had before in the past. It's still the drivers are covered, spectators are covered, everybody's covered, including our 10 scales that come out here and race with us as long as you're a member in good standing. So,
You
um,
mentioned in one of your posts, and I didn't understand it, Mike, so it's probably on me. Um, what you said that there was something you were going to help the pricing for the 10th scale guys, or
yes, in 10 scale, this is something new that I'm trying this year. We've seen really great success in testing out here with the mud bosses. We did our Ironman series the last couple years. We brought the Traxxas Modifieds out. It's a new car that came out just on the market about, maybe 6 months, 8 months ago. And they work fantastic on this track. And so I decided to go ahead and allow the 10 people or market to come in and race during our regular show. And to help offset the costs for a membership, because a lot of guys in 10 scales, they don't pay for membership in any of these tracks they go to.
hmm
Um, but to offset the costs, I decided to bring it down to an entry fee of $10,
okay.
and you get a
So
full just like the rest of us. So,
okay.
but you have to be a member of good standing in QSAC to be part
Yeah.
of it. And hopefully that will offset the entry fees that normally gets charged. Where I think Hobbyplex charges $25 maybe to enter. Hackberry charges what, 15. I don't
Yeah.
know Grand Island what they charge. So this just helps offset the costs for the Mud Boss, and you get a full show just like everybody else does. Um, so that's kind of what that boils down to. Hopefully, we'll get the 10 scale market going out here with the, I was going to build a 10 scale track. Caught a little bit of crap over that, and I decided that I was not going to do it, and decided that I'm just going to stick with the large scale format, and then
Yeah.
bring in the 10 scale market to come in and participate. Now, if you guys got short course modifieds, or if you got a late model, if you got a 360 sprints and you want to try it out here, you can try it. We won't charge you a membership. You can do it after the races are over with, our format is over with, and bring your car out and play on the track if you want.
Nice.
Um, but that's kind of what we're doing right now, is having a Mud Boss advanced class, a beginner class, and then Traxxas modified / late model, whatever car count we can get at that time. So,
Nice.
yeah. So,
Yeah, I think that's
you got any
awesome.
questions? Feel free to message me on this, or you can call me or message me later at a later date. So, but one of the things, Chuck, and did you follow any of the videos that Grand Island had here in the last couple weeks?
I mean, I watched their show that they did whenever it was, last week or something. I think they did
Right,
a show on a Monday night or something. Yeah, I mean, I hopped on that. Yeah, I mean, I don't race out there, but I think it's
right.
important to understand what everybody's doing kind of in the
Doing, yeah,
community.
and
Yep.
it affects, Jeff Davis at,
Yep.
Hackberry and places
Yep.
like that.
Yep.
But one of the things that they came up with, and, I'm probably gonna catch hell for what I'm saying tonight, but I don't
That's all
care.
right. You're old. You don't have
At
to worry about
67 years old, or 66, going to be 67 this year, I've had enough ass chewing
it.
in my lifetime.
I'm doing that at 53, man. I'm giving up at 53, saying to heck with it. You don't like it,
Um,
hit the road.
but this is just my opinion only, and opinions are like, everybody
Yeah.
has one, right?
Everyone has one, right?
Okay, so I was listening to the formats, and one of the things they talked about was the new Traxxas Modified. And the argument was to go to either have a stock radio come out of the box, because when you buy a car, it has a radio, or have an open radio where you have your own personal radio too with the car. A little history, and to sum all this up, and this is the story I'm going to lead to, is last year, when I put on the Mud Boss race, the Ironman 100, I decided to stick with the stock radio because that's what everybody said they're doing. Well, a few guys from Grand Island messaged me and says, well, that's too bad because we want to come, but we're not going to come because we've got open radios in our cars.
Right.
Okay. So I thought, well, all right. Usually when I try to stick to the rules as much as possible, what I've announced. And so we ran the cars, and yeah, some of the Grand Island guys didn't show up compared to the year before. So this year, I've had a lot of interest in the Traxxas Modified. Some guys called me on it. One of the issues is we have two guys that are left-handers.
Yeah.
They can't race with a stock radio. Okay.
Right.
And they asked me, well, what are you going to do? And I says, look, I'm not going to discriminate against you on a radio.
Lefties on lefties.
Yeah.
Right.
So I says, I'm just going to open it up to open radio because that's kind of what the Grand Island guys kind of messaged me last year about. So I thought I'll just go with the open radio.
Right.
And so I left it at that. I put it out there on my Facebook page. Here's the rules. We're going to go with the stock box Traxxas Modified. No changes, except you can use an open radio. Well, of course, Grand Island had their video, and there was a lot of good discussion on it, and they voted it to have stock radio.
Right.
Which really threw me for a loop because I thought they were more into the open radio.
Right. Which in their defense, they were, right? Because if I recall, and maybe the guys will correct me here, I thought Grand Island was the first one that really got in with the Traxxas.
I think so. Yeah. You're right.
And there's supposedly some type of a radio glitch, or it wasn't really a glitch as so much as how the servo and the ESU or ECU rather, and the radio all interacted.
Right. Well, so my understanding was
now we have to use a different radio. Right?
Yeah, my understanding was there was a brownout.
Yeah,
they call it a brownout, and basically it's just a terminology where the radio just stops for split seconds, and the car dies, and then it comes back.
Right.
So anyway, the discussion was to have an open radio so there's no brownouts. Well, last year when I was racing my Traxxas Modified, I had 3 brownouts. One was on the back stretch while we're under yellow. As soon as I hit the throttle, nothing happened. Then it came on. The other brownout came in turns 3 and 4. When I was going in 3 and 4, I spun myself out, of course. The yellow come out. They threw me back on the track, hit the throttle, nothing happened. Just for a split second. The third thing that came around was on the front stretch where I was actually racing in the car, just like I lost a battery, like the battery just died for a split second. So that's kind of convinced me that, there's a problem with that.
Right. Hey, is that real quick? The receiver that comes on those, is that wired or a wireless receiver?
I don't remember. I don't know. I guess
the reason
I have to look.
That is that I purposely run wired receivers at your track,
right?
Where I don't have to.
Indoors, you don't have to. Right.
Jeff's, I don't either because it's it just doesn't. It's not that much dirt.
So, I kind of thought, okay, I get what they're saying. They're having brownouts, and nothing more frustrating than you're racing, and all of a sudden the car doesn't.
Right.
And so that's why I decided to go with the open radio at this time.
Right.
And then, of course, there's a couple lefties, and I'm not going to mention anybody, but they're left-handers. They want to race. They can't because they can't,
the radio
can't switch it over. So I decided to go with the open radio. Now, what really surprises me is when they say box stock, okay, and this is probably where it'll get me in trouble here. Box stock in that Traxxas Modified doesn't necessarily mean box stock, because what you're doing is you're taking it apart, you're trimming the seals, you're taking the box stock grease out,
Right, right,
They have
right. You're changing the
an
shock
adapt.
length.
Yeah,
Right, right.
they have an adapter on the front nose where it
Mm,
screws down so the nose doesn't supposedly come up in the air.
hmm.
Well, that's not box stock.
Right,
So
right.
they're taking the term box stock and loosely make it a not box stock, but they're saying it's box stock. So,
No, no.
I mean, you
Right,
can, grab for straws at anything you want to do and go from there. So,
right.
um, so
But so
that's where
you are gonna do an open radio though,
we're
right?
going to do an open radio.
Good, that's
Um,
okay.
I
And you know
talked,
what? When those if we get somebody out and they're just green as a brand new twig, right? I mean, they're
mhm,
just yeah, one, they're not going to stand a chance anyway. Let's be honest, right? I mean,
sure.
yeah, there's those savants, the kids out there, and don't get me wrong, the young guys that we had racing with Bo's kiddo
Hmm.
and what's Chase? Not Chase.
Chaz,
Corey Pate, Chaz.
Chaz.
I mean, yeah, and then
But
Jimmy's granddaughter. I mean,
yeah,
those young kids did great. But the fact is that when they're coming out, we want them to come out. We want them to have a good time. A radio is not going to make the difference for them, right? I mean, there's a lot of other things they have to work on. So, it's one. Hey, there's Greg. He hopped on.
I was
Uh,
shocked.
that's good. Good to see you, Greg. Thank you.
Well, I
Um,
saw that it popped up, but I'm thinking, I thought he
yeah.
didn't like me.
No, 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 no. We're not going there. Um, but no, my point is that
Right.
even if the kids come out in their box stock, one, they're gonna have a good time, and then you know what? At some point, if they're starting to like dad or mom, hey, I want to get more competitive,
Well,
then go buy a TPM for 230
do you know,
bucks versus a 7 or 10 PXR. You know,
here was another argument they had was it's supposed to be for a beginner's class. And I'm gonna tell you, I have yet seen anybody in those Traxxas Modifieds are beginners.
that are beginners, and that's true. There's some that's legit.
And so I don't know. I think the Mud Boss beginning class is more for beginners,
Okay,
and I've seen a little bit of that.
so
And the Mud Boss, they're open radio with a
yeah,
Salvus Mud rules, which I
yeah,
got no
yeah,
problem with that.
right, right, right.
Um, so I don't know. I guess here's the deal, guys. If you go to a Grand Island or a Mirage or Hackberry or My Track, look at the rules up, and if you want to race your track, race it,
Yeah,
and don't worry about it. Just go out and have a good time and
right.
have fun with the sport. And just abide by what you might not agree with the rules because let's face it, we're human beings. We don't agree with everybody at
Right,
every
you don't
single
like it.
moment.
Hey, you don't like it, go start your own track. It's that
Yeah,
easy.
yeah, exactly.
Right,
And just go out and have fun. If
right,
it's an open radio and you don't want to race it because it's open, and then don't
right.
race it.
I'll tell you
If
what, I
if
just
it's a
started
box stock radio and you want to race, then go race and have fun. Especially
it.
in the Traxxas Modifieds and the Mud Bosses. I think we forget where this sport is supposed to be for fun. We have a
W
good time.
What are your thoughts, Mike? And I'm kinda putting you on the spot here on live TV, so that's always a good thing. You like that preface, right?
I
Is
love it.
get a hold of Daniel. Is there a way that you can do a race or do an open track day for people who buy their cars at Hobbytown and say, "Look, we're gonna open the track Saturday from" the beauty of it is they're electric, they're small, you don't have to worry about
Mhm.
track prep as much, right? Or you should, you know what I mean? But have an open track day for those new drivers. Anybody that's bought a mod or whatever from
Yeah.
Hobbytown to be able
Well,
to come out.
that's good because you are gonna be my PR man when
Yeah,
we go to
no, that's
Hobbytown.
fine. Yeah, we
When
could
we
do
go to
that.
Hobbytown, because
I
you're the
love it,
guy that
man.
has the
Wow.
voice and
Yeah. I'm just thinking a way to as we've all said, I know that Greg has expressed it. The guys in I heard the
sure,
guys at GI, we got to get young people in the sport. And again,
right.
I'm glad that we did the open radio because the lefties out there, if they want to race, let's get them out there. And as far as the kids are concerned, I mean, it's they're going to come out and have fun
Okay,
anyway.
so there's another one that came up. Eric Hauser said that Trey's a lefty.
Oh, there you go. Yeah,
So
there you
so
go.
there's
Yeah,
3.
yeah.
So, and like Glenn Fickle was telling me, he says, if everybody's worrying about the cost, you don't need an $800 radio like I have,
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
you know? Um,
The only way I'll beat Glenn is if he's driving a right-handed radio, and I'll still struggle with that, so it doesn't matter.
but,
Why don't you go we got some updates
yeah,
here.
let's go. I'll read to let's go here.
Yeah.
We got down. Dennis says, oops, happy VD. Way to go, Dennis. I hope Dennis, I hope you're feeling good. I hope everything's going good with you. You have to let us know how things are going on your end of the health scale. It seems like everybody is having some issues.
Last
Uh,
time I spoke with Dennis, I don't mind. I'm sure he won't mind. If he does, he'll tell me. But
Kim
he had
Myers
some
on.
Dennis had some great results a few weeks
Good,
ago. Yep,
good. I'm
yep,
glad to hear
very,
that.
very
Good.
positive. So, yep,
Mirage Raceway Park, a brand new track being built. My 10 scale schedule will be out soon. Just finished up my sprint car schedule of 35 races.
that's insane, man. How
Yeah,
you guys? That's
that's big
incredible.
scale. And then he's going to do his
Yeah,
10 scale program. So,
right.
kind of look forward to see what's going on up there in, I believe, in Fremont.
Yep.
Let's see. Kim Myers says, "Me, I'm green, don't know crap about racing, can't turn left." And there you go. She's brand new and she's
Right.
running a Mud Boss beginning class with an open radio. So take it as it is, you know. Um, Mirage says, sold 10 cars to guys with no experience. That's why radios will be stock.
Nice.
And that's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah, that works.
That's work.
And the thing is, Greg, I mean, obviously, those guys want to get some more lap time. You send them to mics. You just let them know ahead of time. Hey, guys, it's an open radio.
Well, and it don't take much to change them over. You pop one out, you pop another radio in with a
Right.
receiver, you
With a
close the
different
lid, and you
receiver.
go racing. So,
Right. Yep.
uh,
Yeah.
Eric
I think.
Hauser, unless Traxxas offers a radio for lefties, it limits these with hand
Yeah.
disabilities like Trey. So there's a
Yeah.
third driver that's
Yeah.
left-handed.
Oh, look at this one. I didn't. This really
I
makes me
didn't
feel
know
bad.
that.
Oh man,
Bentley is a lefty and drives right-handed radio.
I'm really bad, man. I can't even beat Bentley
Ye-
when he's handicapped.
Yeah,
Poor kid.
exactly. There you go. So there.
Jeez.
Okay, so let's say there's four now. So it is showing up. Yeah, yeah. So there's
Oh,
Chris
look,
Stump. Hey
oh,
guys, how's it going? Mike can't wait until New Orleans. We'll see you in a couple weeks. Well, Chris, I have to inform you, I doubt that I'll be going because I'm having back problems and well, let's just put it this way. I have so much pain that I kind of pass out.
kinda.
Kinda, yeah.
You're
So
literally
I
passing.
don't think I wanna get on the road, and we're trying to get this I got an L3, L4 compression disc, and it's just setting off my sciatica, and I'm kinda struggling sitting here right now because my sciatica is starting to bother me, so I took some hydros and
Yes.
everything else
Some
to
narcotics,
calm
legally
it down.
prescribed.
But I do I'm still got my hotel reservations, but I just don't know if I can make it by myself up there. So we'll see. I'll have to talk to Todd about that. And we'll talk about the New Orleans track coming up because there's some news coming out on the quarter scale market. Eric Hauser, I've raced since 2013 with the same $150 Futaba radio.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice.
And then Mirage says,
Yeah, there you
I
go.
would entertain an open radio class if enough cars. Well, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, again, you own a racetrack and you go to that racetrack, and if you don't like the rules, so be it. Don't lose sleep over it. It's an RC car. It's a 10 scale car. You're not making a lot of money.
As a track owner, you guys
Yeah.
aren't making any freaking
Well,
money.
I mean, you don't make any
I mean,
money. You don't even make money racing cars because it's for
right.
trophies and bragging
Right.
rights and stuff. So
Right.
it's just something that different tracks have different rules, and if you don't agree with my rule, you don't have to race. Nobody's putting a gun to your head. And
Right.
but if you like the track and you want to race, make a few adjustments. And we're not asking to change out a whole shock package or a whole motor package. It's just a radio. That's
Yep.
pretty much it. And speaking of radio, because Glenn Fickle, he's a left-hander. I have to
Mhm.
put that out.
Yep.
He's a
And
left-hander.
it's so apparently is Bentley, although he freaking
So
rocks with the right hand.
yeah, there you go. Can you imagine you put him a
Oh,
left-handed
I
radio,
was just gonna say,
how
get that
good
kid a
he
left.
can be?
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
So,
No kidding.
but anyway, Glenn says that he's got a Skyfly. I think it's called a
Mhm.
Skyfly radio,
Yep. Yep.
$180,
Yeah.
and it can change left to right. And he says, I love the radio. I race with it in my 10 scale program. Um, does everything. And
Right.
so, again, when you get into RC car racing or you get into full scale racing, it's going to cost you money. Let's face it, you know. Um, so
Well,
what's
but it's like any hobby though, right? I mean, if you got a kid that's traveling baseball or volleyball or soccer, or if you're a golfer or
yeah,
you're into bourbon or or whiskey,
Mm.
It's one of those deals that it's just that's part of the sport. But
Part of the cost. Yep.
if that kiddo going down there shoot Hobby Town, mom dad put together the lawnmower money. He's got $500. She's got $500. They buy the car, they put it on the track, and they have a great time.
Right.
We have. Yep.
Well, my
I
big
love it.
concern
I love it.
is they're brand new and you put them in a stock radio and they're struggling because the radio is being stock. How
Yeah.
well do you how well does
I don't know.
what's that term? Getting displeasured over the car and throw the
Like
car away.
I've got an
By
$800
give them a better radio might help them better.
maybe, but I've got an $800
This way
radio and
you
I
can
still
adjust the
suck.
dual rates down.
So,
You can make the car pull
yeah,
left or right a little better and things
yeah.
like that. So that's just the rule. I'm just going to have an open radio. So
There
let's
you go.
finish out here. Dennis says, just jump in the truck, ride, and die with us. Oh,
Well, maybe they
jeez.
could put you in the bed of the truck so you can lay
The
down the
problem
whole
is
time.
I can't lean down and pick stuff up. If I drive, you'd be surprised how
You get one of
much
those
crap I have on my floor because I can't lean down and pick stuff
get
up.
one of
So
those old people things where it's got the pinchers on the end. You could pick stuff up.
just take more hydros and you'll feel fine.
Nice. Chris forgot to mention chase it with some liquor. You'll
Yeah.
feel better.
Chris says, I'm
Oh,
left-handed. I
wow.
didn't know that.
I didn't know that
Also,
either.
but
Now
drive right-handed.
I
And
feel
some
even
guys
worse.
can do that. Some guys can learn to drive right-handed,
Mike, I'm wondering maybe I'm left-handed. That's why I'm such a crappy right-handed driver.
Well, maybe you need to change
I
the
should
left
drive
hand.
a left-handed radio. I think I'm gonna do it.
And she
It's
says
more
I'm
it's
a
only
lefty.
money. That's my cousin.
So
Yeah.
anyway, so that's kind of what's going on for the 10 scale community. One of the things is they got a new late model coming out. I think they're bringing it out
Looks
debuting
sexy.
in springtime, I believe. And we'll probably, if there's enough late models, we'll run late models
Mhm.
and separate. If there's enough modifieds, we'll run modified separate. And if
Yeah.
there's one or two here, we'll probably just
Roll
lump
'em
them
in.
together. Yeah.
Right,
And
right.
just have a good time with them. So I know Wayne Eklund, he's going to come out with his Mud Boss and race.
Wayne
Kim's going to,
Wayne flip-flop it.
yeah.
Wayne the flip-flop, good
Kim
man.
says she'll run the beginner class again this year. Dennis Stevens even has a modified. Can you imagine that?
Time out. What?
Oh, he didn't tell you that?
No, he's like, "No, Chuck, you don't need one of those. You'll just
Yeah,
create more
he's
bad
got
habits."
one. He's got one.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah, wait till I talk to you.
apparently he won it. So I'll be
Right?
curious what
Yeah,
he's
he
going to do with
won it
that car.
with his bank card. I mean, that's how he won it. Nice.
But
Nice.
anyway, so and I'm going to run mine. Or if somebody wants to run it for me, I don't know if I'm going to have time. Or Wayne Thomas. I said Eklund.
Yeah, okay, thank
Wayne
you.
Eklund was a guy that I used to race back in the 90s, and I don't know why all of a sudden that popped up. It's the hydro. So
Wayne Flip-Flop Thomas. That dude wears
Wayne Flip
flip-flops.
Flop Thomas. I
He was
know.
working up there in April and October wearing those flip-flops. And that
I
dude was
know there's a few
cool.
guys are going. I think Mike Saltel has a modified. Glenn Fickle's going to go out and buy one now since it's an open radial, so he can use his left-hander. So I'm looking forward to Shaggy just come up, says I got a Traxxas Modified.
Oh,
So
man.
I think we'll have a good time with those
It'll be fun.
cars.
Yeah.
I think I'm really looking forward. They've proven they can run out there. So let's finish out here. Kim Myers says, replying to Chris Stump, oil fire whiskey.
That
Yeah.
sounds like heartburn to
You
me,
have to
man.
talk to them for the Nationals. That could be Chuckles. Yeah.
That's me, yeah.
Shaggy
right.
mentions, yes, I
There
have
you
one
go.
of these pinchers
Yeah, those
in
picture
use a lot.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I have one on my lawnmower.
Oh,
I
there you
get
go.
tired of
Good
picking up
crack.
crap on the grass.
Right.
Mirage says, us drone pilots can drive any directions. Yep.
Man, I'll tell you what, Chris, I can't thank you guys enough, man. I mean, with when Nancy videoing our races for us, and then you guys posted. But man,
That
those
was cool.
oh
Freaking
man,
cool.
the drone shots though, Mike, for quarter
Yep.
scale Nats were just freaking awesome.
Yeah, they were cool.
I mean,
Yep,
it'd
they
be
were
nice if
really
we
neat.
could find like a local. What we should do is reach out to find a local drone club and
Right.
have those guys come out or gals come out and fly and do video for us.
Well, I've always wanted to get hold of Lincoln Sky Knights and do a flyover during the Nationals.
Oh, that'd be cool too.
use
I mean,
use their jets or something to fly over, but
that
I
would
don't
be
know.
really cool. That'd be
Um,
really cool. Yeah, because you've got a little bit of trees out there, but there's plenty of room to
Well,
land.
we had back in Wally's track back in the 90s, we had a guy that had an RC blimp.
Okay, and you
and he
hover.
flew it
Oh,
over the track like it was
like
ESPN,
Goodyear,
you know?
like the
Yeah.
Goodyear blip, yeah.
Kim
But
says,
yeah,
"Yeah, Wayne Thomas," and then
we should write
yeah.
that down. Find out if somebody has, like, a drone club. Not that I mean, Zelazny's wanna
Well,
keep doing
Don's
it,
got a
that's
drone.
awesome.
I
Yeah,
got a drone,
yeah.
but I don't
Damn.
fly the drone. I haven't flown the drone in years, but so
Yeah.
anyway, that's going on there. The other thing is we talked about QSAC format changes. Really not a lot this year, and we'll probably do more discussion at race time because a lot of people forget. Really, the only format changes we're going to have is the same, except we're going to add the 10 scales into our club. The other format changes instead, usually when we have a yellow, we have one lap invert, meaning we invert the last previously lap. And I found it quite interesting. When I went to Liberty, Kentucky to race the Worlds down there, they invert back 2 laps. And I thought that was kind of strange. And so I talked to one of the directors and I asked him, why are you guys inverting back to 2 instead of 1? And he says, what happens is when we get back to back yellows, it screws everything up. And we forget who caused the first yellow, and the guy who caused the first yellow got his spot back, and then da 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 da. And I says, I've went through that same problem too when we have back to back yellows, and we're trying to throw everybody to the back. And so what they do is they invert back 2 laps, no matter what. He did say that it will help some people and it will screw some people
Mhm.
because if you're the leader and and you're leading the first lap, the yellow comes out, you're still the leader, and then the second lap comes out, you're still the leader. But on 2 laps ago, you were running second. Guess what? You're going back to second.
Oh, because okay.
Yeah, because it's going back to what the computer saw at the time
Think about that.
of you hit that particular lap.
Right,
But it can also help people because this way somebody who can't get their lap back now can probably get their lap back.
right.
So,
Mm, mm,
so there's plus and minuses on this. One of the problems we have it here is, and we ran into this all the time, is when we have back-to-back yellows, and then next thing you know is we're trying to figure out who goes to the back, who doesn't go to the back, and it just doesn't work. So
right,
this year we're just going back two laps, and it can help you on a green, white flag, checker flag too. I mean, if you're racing for the win and the yellow comes out going down the back stretch, guess what? We're going back 2 laps. Yeah, so
yeah, yeah.
that can change the outcome of the race, and they do it at the Worlds. They do it pretty much anywhere running fifth scales. They go back to 2 yellows,
There we
two
go.
laps,
Good,
2 laps
good, good,
out.
good.
So whatever says on the computer, that's what we're sticking with. We're not going to argue. We're not going to change something.
Right, manually
If you
rotate.
feel
Right,
like you're getting screwed because you're a leader and then you got to go back to fourth spot, well, that's just the way it is. So it could help you or it can screw you.
right.
So
Yeah, sounds like life.
the other thing too is we're going to do more mufflers this year. Everything has to be on a stock box muffler. There's a part number DDM. I can't think what it is, but
I'll find it.
I'm sure Chuck can look it up. Mainly because I'm just tired of the noise. And I don't know how many fifth scale sprint cars are going to be out this year. So they'll have to be, or they can use a tune pipe, but they have to have a muffler on it somehow. And they do make silencers for those tune pipes. And they have to follow within the guidelines of and I've got a machine that tells you how loud it is on the
All the
racetrack.
decibels.
So yeah. So,
Gotcha.
so if you want to run a tune pipe in a sprint car and you can find a muffler for it, they do make them. DDM has them. You can put
Here
that
we
on
go.
there.
It's the Mike. It's the Chongyang RC high flow exhaust canister.
Yep.
The SKU on that gang is 15483-CY.
And I think they're about
15483.
$17, aren't they, or
A
something?
little more than that. They're twenty
Are
nine
they?
ninety nine.
Oh, they've gone
Uh,
up. Okay.
15483-CY.
Okay.
That's and they last forever. I mean,
Yep.
unless you're like me and you roll your car and you either crack it or dent it. But yeah, I mean,
Sure. Yeah.
it's yeah, you're good to go.
And usually in the fifth scale market, guys, we are with voice of the track owners, VOTs.
Oh,
I think Chuck's got a link to the rules.
I,
And that's kind of the rules that they're going to with the stock. I'm trying to be in line with them on rules. So
they haven't
either,
published their 2025, Mike. The 24 is still up.
mhm.
I reached out to Dennis because I think Dennis. I don't know those guys directly. I know that Dennis does though. So I asked Dennis if he could snag a copy of it for us, and you could post it to Facebook or
Sure.
whatever. Or I mean, hell, for that matter, you can go to VOT's site too and pull it down. But
Right.
we were just trying to make it easy for people. But yeah,
Well,
2024 is what they have up right now. So
yeah. Well, we've always been the voice of the track owners for a few years. You can run a gyro on your steering only, no throttle and things like that. But we allow tune pipes on, I think, sprint cars. And do the modifieds run tune pipes? Chuck, do you know what? I know late models don't.
the mods, no,
Mods.
we're running stock.
Okay.
Well, I'm running a stock pipe. I guess I don't know.
I thought a
Uh,
couple guys weren't
Well, no,
running.
a couple of guys, no, because I think what's his name? Eric Hauser was
Right.
running a tune pipe for a while, and I don't know if Dennis does or not. I don't remember.
And to be honest with you, I just don't see a power drop off using a tune pipe versus I mean, look at Brandon Stevens. He broke the track record below 7 seconds with a box muffler. So
Yeah,
so that's the update there on format changes, rule changes. We're not going to discuss rules because what we'll do is we'll have a drivers meeting in April. We'll get everybody together and say, okay, what do you want to see change? Hopefully, I don't think you'll see much because we're trying to adopt the VOT program, so I don't
right.
think we're going to see much there. Can't think of anything else. Do you?
Mm-mm. No, I like the idea of being just the continuity with the different rule packages.
The 3-race series with QSAC.
Oh
They
yeah,
made an announcement,
quarter.
and we're really anxious to see it. It's like and you wrote it down. I wrote it down, but I can't find my notes.
I think I took a picture of it. Crap, I didn't.
Let me look here. And you can find it on Facebook page. Todd Holloway. It's between me and Todd Holloway. We kind of created this new series. It's called 2025 Quarter Scale Sprints on Dirt Challenge.
Nice.
And look that up on Facebook. I can post a link later on tonight on my Facebook page.
Yeah, I was trying to find it.
What it is we got invited down to Liberty, Kentucky for their big Worlds Championship race, and they had a ton of cars down there, almost 100 cars of fifth scales. And we got invited, had a great time down there. Southern hospitality was bar none, had a great time. And so then Chris Wall, who runs Seminary RC Raceway, he invited us down also to come down to. Oh yeah, thanks Dennis. No Chaos tires this year. We're just going to go on street tires or whatever. So thanks Dennis for reminding us. But we got invited down to Seminary Raceway for the Gator Nationals, and that's a big track. It's about like my size track, but banked a hell of a lot bigger. I mean, it is banked. That nice sugar clay they have down there. And so we got invited down to Gator Nationals. Of course, Liberty's invited us. And so we decided with a group of us to create the Sprint Dirt Challenge for our championship. It's kind of our own separate point series. We're going to keep track of points. And you race those 3 tracks. And so it's new. I'm glad that there's more and more dirt tracks coming on board. To do this. Again, this is just kind of an internal championship within the QSAC members, the people that race QSAC with the quarter scale cars. It sounds like we're going to have a lot more cars this year at the Nationals because of these 2 dirt tracks. And I asked Todd, I said, why all of a sudden the interest in dirt? And he said, because there's more places to race. Guys don't want to invest $65 a tire to race one time. That's a lot of money sitting there. And so now there's more.
I mean, think about building a track. Not that it's cheap to build dirt, but I can't imagine putting a pavement track, an asphalt track up the size of yours.
Right.
Oh my heavens. So
Wally Tater built his in 1990, and it was just an asphalt track, and it cost him $20,000
in 1990.
Yeah.
Yeah. Imagine with the cost of inflation.
Yeah. So anyway, that's the reason that we're starting to see dirt drivers out of Texas showing up. They're going to be down there in Dave Pernero out of McChesney Park, Illinois. He bought some dirt tires. we're going to see some really good things in the quarter scale industry when it comes to lease racing on dirt. So we decided to create this series. Again, it's an internal series. As far as rules, we're still going to require you to follow the QSAC guidelines on the sprint car. I know Chris and Missy Wall don't really care what our rules is because we're just racing their track. So, but we're really looking forward to it. Well, I tell you what, you get down there and race with some of these guys, Chuck,
Yeah.
and you get your butt handed to you. But in a good way, because you know what? I went down to Liberty thinking I'm going to do really well, and I did. I mean, I finished fourth. I couldn't get the car to rotate and stuff like that, but out of 10 cars, I finished fourth.
Heck yeah.
But I'm telling you, those guys, they did some stuff on those cars that I never dreamed of. And it's a good way of losing because you're learning. And, this is why that me and Don's going down to Texas for the Asphalt Nationals. It's a week-long race. And I told Don, we're going to get our butts handed to us by some of the best asphalt drivers in the country, but we're going to come back with a lot of knowledge, in this. So,
yeah. Well, Dennis said that the first year he and Brandon went down Gator Nationals, I think it was their first year. He said the same thing. He said, "Yeah, we got smoked, but man, we learned so much down there."
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's how you get good is you don't race within your little group.
Sure.
And be the dominant force.
Right.
You want to expand out, and if you really want to be good, you expand out. And and I'm not no slouch, but I'm not the best driver in the world either. I mean, I think I lost a lot of it and in my age, but boy, I'll tell you what, that was incredible that how they make those cars run so well. So we're really looking forward to doing this race series with Todd Holloway and myself. Todd's going to sponsor, and I'm going to sponsor the series, and
nice.
And hopefully, and it sounds like we're going to have a lot more quarter scales on dirt coming in August, and some newer drivers, some really fast drivers, but they're going to be the first time on dirt. So
that's exciting, man.
Yeah.
That's really
exciting. Back Row Motorsports, we're planning on running Ingalls, Little Madhouse. We're going to go down to Texas. Don's in Hawaii right now, so he can't do the
Kentucky
Springfield race.
Yeah, Springfield,
but he's planning, we're going to go up to Iowa, Veterans Park a couple times and run. We do have a couple new series in quarter scales for the dirt track, and that's the vintage stock cars with the stock car chassis.
Those are going to be cool.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a different type of racing. And
I was going to do the Harry Gant Bandit, man. That's what you got to do.
Yeah.
Oh.
I have one. Rick Young has one. Don Liskey has one. Chris, I don't know if you're on, but if Trevor, I know he has a truck, but if he wants to run with us, he can run with us for a while with his truck. So, but we're just trying to create a class that hopefully trucks to me. I mean, I praise the guys that race trucks.
I can't imagine racing
those trucks. Are so loosey goosey.
Oh my gosh,
it's always on the fine end of spinning out.
They're fun to watch. The guys that make them work, man. They do it. Gatsky's and Jimmy. I mean, they do a great job with them.
Yep. So hopefully with the car, now we'll still run trucks. There's plenty of trucks. I don't have no problem running trucks.
Right. 3 makes a class.
Three makes a class, but we decided to try the car count. These are vintage stock car bodies being blown by sorry, probably a bad word, but being made through Billy Bradford up in Iowa. They're the cars that I used to run back in the 90s.
You got a Miller. Is yours Miller? What's your theme on your car?
This year?
Yeah. Well, on your vintage.
Well, I used to sponsor by Budweiser out of Lincoln.
Budweiser, that's what
D&D distributing out of Lincoln, and I was always a Budweiser sponsored car.
Gotcha.
And so I always paint up my quarter scales in Budweiser. Bud Light was 1 year, Budweiser. I got hooked up with Chuck Foley, who was a RADA, races against drug abuse. And so I couldn't run Budweiser, so I had to run O'Doul's. So I had to run O'Doul's. Yeah. So, I kind of, there's a funny story behind this Budweiser theme. Okay, so I was sponsored by Budweiser for years. D&D distributing, Matt Herman always sponsored me and always gave me a pretty good little check to just run quarter scales. And so New Year's Eve, they had a party downtown Lincoln, which is supposed to be for no alcohol, right? It's just an indoor party, no alcohol. Well, they had our cars on display. Chuck Foley had everybody's cars on display. I brought my car in, not thinking about it. They told me I couldn't have my body there because it had Budweiser on it. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
that's
I actually had to take my
the
body
rules,
off
I guess, but
and put
yeah.
it in a box. And so,
Huh.
yeah.
Total.
So anyway, but anyway, we end up going with old duels because of non-alcoholic, and it was green and yellow, and it was a beautiful car. That was the year I ran really well at the Knoxville Nationals for the quarter scales. But so yeah, so this year my theme in paint job was to do the old Budweiser thing that I ran
It
years
looks
ago.
good. It looks really
So
good, man.
and then this year, and Holloway did the graphics and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, guys, let's see. Let's go here. Let's track. I got a Traxxas mod. Says I do run tune.
That's right.
Okay. Well, you'll have to either put a muffler
Okay.
on it or put a muffler on your tune pipe. He said in the mod. Gasky says, God, our hotel reservation is Liberty, Kentucky.
Nice.
So he's going.
Good to see you, Will.
Dennis Stevens says no chaoses. I forgot about that. Mad Max.
Are those a pin tire? I don't remember
Enlighten me on that. I don't know what Mad Max. I don't race fifth scale, so I don't know what a Mad Max is. It has to be a street tire. So that's pretty much it. Brian Howard, our co-chair, will get Brian on some time and talk about QSAC and the insurance and things like that. Dennis Stevens says Chris Wall is Springfield Raceway. Yep, him, Chris, and Missy Wall is putting on the Gator Nationals, which is a hell of an event. Hell of an event from what I understand. Brian Howard says,
good evening. Look at that. We got the big dogs in.
Yeah.
Flying to Will. Yep. So Brian will be in Liberty.
Flying to our plan ahead this year. Heck yeah. Okay. I just won't run again. Just because of a muffler? Okay.
Muffler or tire, one of the two. I didn't catch
tire.
it.
Okay.
Yeah, each your own.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so Will Gasky, Mad Max is a cheap Amazon tire street shed. Okay, so you can run a Mad Max if it's a street
not
tread.
a non-pin tire.
Yeah, as long as it's a non-pin tire.
Yeah,
because
I'm looking at DDMs right now. These babies don't look like they're.
Anytime I'll be on. Okay, great, Brian. We'll get you on there, and maybe you can talk to the other co-chair. Maybe he can join us.
Well, you're talking about having Brian on just to run through insurance rules, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
Right?
whatever questionnaire, because everybody's a member, so I'm sure they'll have Mad Maxes are like chaos.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They look more like a mutter of some kind.
A mutter, anyway. Okay.
It's got to be a street tire. That's the easiest way to say it.
Yeah, it's got to be a street tire because the track just gets tore up so bad. You'd be surprised. I laugh about the sprint cars, and I love it. I totally love it when the fifth scale sprint cars get out there and they're throwing an arc of mud everywhere, and it splatters my window in the scoring shed. That's what racing's all about.
There you go, baby.
The problem is I can't keep maintaining the track because they're digging holes in it. So, so anyway, guys, anything else you want to ask me or Chuck going on? If you guys got some new decals being made, new chassis,
send some pictures. That would be good.
Send some pictures. We'll get you online. Cool. I want to update my introduction because that's from last year.
Right.
Dennis says no pin tire, street tread only. Brian Howard says I'll bring my
whoa, Brian,
all the notes.
Getting crazy. Look at Brian living on the edge.
Will says Tit Racing is the tire I was thinking of.
It's TIT, but I love that name, man.
Well, that's the first thing I see. So, it's TIT. It's not what you think.
I know. 30 mine.
It's fine. Car setting fine the way it is. So
awesome, Shaggy. Sounds good. Buddy.
So anyway, but anything else, guys? Been a long winter. It's been a cold winter.
Oh, I know. I was going to ask if anybody has, since you guys are on, the bar that gets screwed onto the flywheel for the roto starts. I still don't know how to tune my motor, so I'm still using my roto start, but I can't find the bar. What's his
Oh,
name?
that has the
RC.
adapter, the
Yeah,
Allen hen.
Killer RC is no longer around. They closed shop like last late summer, early
Oh, they
fall.
did.
They did, yeah, and they were a big company too, so it's kind of surprising. But anyway, if anybody has that bar that hooks onto the flywheel, I'll be happy to buy it off you.
I'll have to think because I've
All
got a
right,
bunch of them.
just my just don't mind my personal requests. So, but we should be good. But otherwise, no, man, I'm looking forward to it, Mike. It's going to be good.
Yeah.
So what are we at? We're February. April's the first big race. Guys, if you know, one of the things I told Mike I'd like to see us do, if you guys have connections to people, even on the full scale ranks or the, just the RC ranks as well, but like high level, high visibility guys. I think about Bo, getting him on, getting Stu on. Anybody that's won out at Eagle. I think it'd be
Well,
kind of
maybe
fun to interview somebody like that on the
maybe you can
show.
get Mirage Raceway on because
Yeah.
he's high
Yep.
high
Greg's
profile
Greg's
racer. Him and
Greg's got
Justin.
yep, he's got a few years under his belt. But I would love to get just to spice Mike and I are always talking about, okay, how do we make the show better? What could we do different?
Oh, here's a
Yeah,
good one.
the Troy Bill adapter will. That's just the one-way bearing, I believe, is what you're talking about. And I did order a couple of those, but I need the piece that actually hooks to the flywheel that one wheel bearing goes into. So anyway, sorry, Mike, I didn't mean to get off pace. But Mike and I were talking. What can we do to make the show more fun, more engaging,
Well, if
more?
you drivers want to get on too,
Yeah,
just let me know because I don't know. I mean, I'm not much of asking people for anything really. I just kind of do my own thing. But if you
right.
guys want to, and and it's not really interviewing you; it's just sitting on like me and Chuck and shoot the
Bullshitting.
bull or
Right.
with the
Yeah.
racing fans out there. And if you're just a fan and you want to sit on, it had nothing to do with racing, come on. I don't care.
No, that's what we should do. We should get Reed on. We should get our number
Reed,
one fan
number
on.
one,
Reed
number one,
Priest. That'd be
Reed Priest.
awesome.
Yeah.
We gotta get Reed on. That would be
Oh,
awesome.
there we go. I
Oh, look
wondered
at
where
this.
I would recommend Brad Brinkman since he has a full. Yep, I know. Yep. How you guys doing up there in Veterans Park? I
Freaking
heard there's
freezing
some big
up there.
changes went on over the winter time. You got a new guy running the track, Rick Klein. He's been a racing up there for many years. He's back to, I guess, a president. Hopefully Rick and Schultze and you guys come down sometime and race, and we're definitely gonna me and Don's definitely gonna make a run up there early springtime, mainly just to see if I haven't ran a stock car chassis since the 90s. So except for that time when Eric Condit loaned me his car to run and had a great time with it. So but yeah, let us know. Maybe we'll get one of you guys on and talk about Veterans Park Speedway and see what's going on. So yeah. So and then Dennis says, at first when I saw this, Chuck,
I'm like, where are we going with this?
and I thought, do I need to get a stripper pole?
Oh my gosh! I'm like,
Because I just caught it out of my eye. More girls for the show. Yeah.
a little more
But
context.
but
would
at
be
the
good.
time, I'm at the corner of my eye. I thought, what are you talking about?
Yeah, context is always important.
Yeah,
That's gonna be the tag. That's gonna be the tag on your video. We're gonna Dennis Stevens up there promoting ladies
Lady
on the
nights.
show.
Well, maybe we'll
Yeah,
have lady nights out
that would
here.
be
I don't
fun.
know.
That would be fun. How cool would it be to have the spouses of some of us drivers come out? How
Well,
neat would that be? That'd be kind of like a powder puff or whatever they used to
back
call
in
it.
the days, we used to have a powder puff racing back at Eagle
Yeah,
and Midwest Speedway and
that'd
places
be
I used to race.
awesome.
Would you let your wife drive your Fisker?
Heck yeah. She couldn't do any worse than me.
Well,
As long,
let's do a powder puff day.
as long as nobody tells her how much money I actually invest in racing, we're
Oh,
fine.
yeah, Chuck's only got about 10 cents in that car.
Yeah,
He picked it up on Vimeo
Yeah, Timu. I love it.
or Temu or whatever you call
Yeah.
it. Mirage says Brad could never beat me second line. Oh, throwing shots.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
So, but yeah, so guys, anything else new? I don't have anything, Chuck.
I'm good, man.
I have a quick video real quick on preview from 2024 season. So sit back and enjoy.
Oh, man. Man. Finally won one.
There you go.
Man, you crushed it on that video, Mike.
And that's all the
Wow.
all the things that happened last year, from storms to rainbows to
Yeah, the
deer to
tornado,
who
yeah.
knows, that's all what happened in 2024, and we'll play it
Wow,
again
that's an
coming up.
awesome
But
video. That was
yeah, it was
cool.
all the photographs that I had that just
And the
kind of,
cars, oh my gosh, the wraps that these guys are putting on these cars are
aren't they
beautiful.
fantastic? Yeah,
Oh, they look
yeah,
so cool.
yeah, yeah.
Looks
So
so many different color schemes. Yeah,
your
definitely.
cousin says here real
Yep,
quick. He
yep,
says, "How about guest speakers show how to do maybe a maintenance,
yep.
or if there's a part
New
guy that can
products.
tell
That'd be
you about
cool.
new products."
Yep,
Not a high pressure sell, but more of these new things coming out. Yeah, we
that'd
could
be
do that.
cool.
Yeah. So
Yeah. Thank you,
sure.
Shell.
Well, guys,
So
I appreciate everybody on. Chuck, thank you. Did our
thank
little house
you.
cleaning for the summer, for the winter, and
Yep.
we're getting closer and closer to the season. The track has been. I'll tell you what, we haven't had any moisture, and I walked out there prior to the snowstorm, and it's like I feel like
Fantastic.
I'm walking in a foot of fluff. I mean, the track is so soft, and this snow is going to help. We didn't get a lot of snow out of it,
Right.
but
Supposed
it
to get
should.
more in the morning though. They're talking more in the
Yeah, yeah.
morning. The
So
other
far,
Get a hold of your dirt guy now, Mike, the guy that you and Dennis
well,
know.
I got
Pull
it.
that.
I hope Dennis. I need to get hold of Dennis and talk to him and find out who that guy is, because I don't think I have his number.
Yeah.
We
Get
want
on
to
his
try and
radar.
add a little more before the nationals, at least.
What
But so you know, it looks pretty good so as far as the track is. I
You
don't
gotta
think.
get that cushion up there, Mike. You gotta get some banking in that baby, man.
Well, that track when I first
Maybe I
built.
can hey, maybe I can get through 2 and 4 yeah, 2 and in out of 3 if I had more banking. I wouldn't suck.
Well, when I first built that track, there was not a lot of banking.
Mhm.
Okay, and everybody said, "Oh, you got to have banking. You got to have banking." So I build all this banking up, and nobody goes up there anyway.
That's
They
probably
stay
best.
on the bottom or in
That's
my grass. I am going to remove the railroad ties out of there and put some black tubing down there, some big black tubing. Maybe the railroad ties will be on the back side of the black tubing. So yeah, you're still going to hit something, but you're 35 feet down in the bottom and you're still hitting that. So and I was watching a USAC race, and they had all these big tractor tires down in the center, in the corners. And I thought, can you imagine hitting one of those tractor tires in a
Oh,
USAC car?
and
So,
as heavy as those tires are.
oh God, yes,
Oh, man, what
yes,
a
yes, yes,
whiplash.
yeah. I back in my days when I was quote unquote a race car driver, um, it seemed like I come out of turn two and I lost it. And I don't know if somebody tapped me, but I came out of turn two and I hit one of those big old tractor tires and just destroyed the front end of my Camaro.
Bad,
So,
bad.
but
Ugh,
so yeah, water on top. Yeah, that's a pro. I can water on top, it just never stays up there. It
Right.
drains down.
Rolls down.
And there's moisture up there. The problem is they throw a lot of fluff up there, and so it covers up the moisture
Yeah,
basically, and so it just turns real fluffy and stuff. So,
right.
but
It's a
maybe.
science. It's as much art and science together as it is
Well, there's times I
actual.
can hit it right on the knob, and next thing you know, I miss it. So,
But you know what though, Mike? Last year, I mean, the track was phenomenal all last year. I
well,
mean, even in the crappy nights, it
Brandon
was still
Stevens
great.
set the track record.
Yeah,
8, 6'9"?
6'8", I thought.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not
So
once but twice.
yeah,
So,
that's awesome. All right, Mike.
all
Thank you
right,
so
guys.
much.
Thank you,
Thank
guys.
you everybody for hopping on. It was great to see everybody again, and some old names we saw pop up, which is great. Thank
Yep.
you. It's
Appreciate
awesome.
everybody coming
Very
on
cool.
and
Definitely.
discussing some of the things that are
Some
going
new
on this
people.
year.
Yep.
Looking for another exciting year. I want to get my back fixed so I can get out there.
That's
One of the
next.
rumors was, "Well, are you going closing the track down because of your back?" And I go, "Oh, hell no,
Right. Is that next Tuesday you go in for your shot? Is that
Monday."
right? Monday.
Yeah,
Okay.
Monday, and
Well, keep.
I'm
Yeah.
hoping they can fix it because I'm sitting kind of upright, kind of leaning over the mic a little
You'll
bit
be
just
sore
because
as
it
heck
hurts.
now. Right. Right. Well,
But
get off the. Let's close up shop then.
all right,
Go. What
man.
you need to do, and thank you again, everybody, for hopping on.
Thanks for
Really
coming on, and we'll see you next time.